Hi, my name is Freeman, and this is a letter to our Prime Minister in New Zealand. I did send it to her, but I don't think she's read it. I know she's really busy, so I thought maybe if I put it on YouTube, she might read it. So anyway, it's quite a serious letter. Okay, I really hope that you read this, Jacinda. Jacinda, I am so proud of the way you've handled the tragedy that affected my city of Christchurch. The day before the terrorist shooting, I'd spoken to a group of students about road safety, and afterwards a group of refugee students came up to thank me. My heart breaks to think that they may have lost family and friends. I love that you spoke about inclusion, that we are one. Because as a New Zealander, these are values we share. You know, I often speak to people about kindness, love, forgiveness and strength. But Jacinda, I'm confused that you feel all New Zealanders should feel this sense of inclusion, because I don't. I know you recently came forward and you've given your support towards David Seymour's end-of-life choice bill, that suffering New Zealanders should have a choice in how they die. I totally understand your sentiment. It comes from a place of compassion and caring. But I feel there is a darker side to this bill that not many think about, including yourself. I'm not blaming you. When you grow up not having been through what I've been through, I know I would share your views. I want you to think about a scenario. Your daughter is involved in an accident. Her injuries include a high spinal injury. She's paralysed from the neck down. Because of this, she's vulnerable to other secondary conditions such as pressure ulcers, syringomyelia, pulmonary embolisms, pneumonia and other lung conditions. The list goes on. Sometimes these conditions can become terminal, especially if left untreated or unnoticed. Paralysis often means you don't have feeling from the impairment site down. This in itself will be devastating for her and for you, and of course your family. She may also want to attempt suicide. This is very common for people who have sustained a spinal cord injury and impairments. Luckily, with the right support, these suicide moments will often pass, but she will be vulnerable to dark moments. However, if she's over 18 and the end-of-life choice bill is in law, instead of suicide support, she'll be offered assisted suicide, given her condition, which could easily be terminal. You may think that this is worst case scenario stuff, that I'm being over dramatic, but I'm like your daughter. See, I had a spinal cord injury. I was suicidal, and I even attempted suicide and ended up in hospital. I was repeatedly told by health professionals, because of the severity of my injury, I should explore assisted suicide. Luckily, it wasn't in law, otherwise I would be dead. The irony is that before surgery 3 years ago, to restabilise my neck injury, I was actually a lot more mobile. I had sensation, so the chances of becoming terminal were rare. Instead, I chose to take my own life, not because of my injury, but because I had no support, and my way of coping with life was to ignore my grief and severe lack of sleep and actually work harder. Since the surgery that went terribly wrong, I've suffered more paralysis. I'm on actually 24-hour care at the moment, and I have terrible neuropathic pain, and I've lost feeling. I also had a chance to think about my life, make the necessary changes, get the support I needed from friends at university, and in a way, I've started again. I'm completing my PhD, I mentor many New Zealanders with a spinal injury, and I teach students about road safety. But you know what, most importantly, I'm actually happy. I still have my dark moments, I'm only human, but I know with the right support, I can get through them. I spoke to the friend of a gorgeous young guy a few weeks ago. He has a high spinal injury, a pressure ulcer that does not look good, and may have MRSI, so it will be untreatable with antibiotics. He currently wants to die, so he's not bothered by his pressure ulcer, as he can't feel it. It's getting worse because of this and his poor mental state. He has no support apart from his friend, and he sees no future. He's in that dark place where I was when I tried to take my life. He will die because of this bill. And I know we will lose an amazing young guy with so much potential he can't see. He feels like he's a burden, doesn't have enough support. He feels like he has no choice. I'm not speaking out for religious or political reasons. I'm speaking out because I am included in the group that no one wants to think about that will also be affected by this bill. I'm speaking out in the hope that people might see what having a choice also means. It's not just about stopping the suffering of a few. It's about giving up on people like me, like my young friend, like many other vulnerable New Zealanders this bill will affect and their families. In New Zealand, disabled, sick and ill people do not have enough support. We can't even think about putting a bill like this into law until that support is there. And from first-hand experience, it's simply not there. With overspending in the public health sector, cutbacks are already happening and plans are in action to decrease spending in the disability sector. CCS Disability Action Chief Executive David Matthews suggests the current situation is a crisis. He said despite denials of a national rollout, he was seeing client packages cut each week as a result of downward pressure. President Jerry Pomeroy of the Disabled Persons Assembly, or DPA as we know it, said, taking away from barely enough leaves not enough. This isn't about some line in a budget. This is about disabled people being able to live their lives at the most basic level. This will hurt our most vulnerable, who won't see assisted suicide as a choice, but as a solution. How we treat our most vulnerable is a reflection of who we are as a society. Jacinda, this isn't about blaming you. For many, including myself, you are someone I look up to. I'm proud that you're our Prime Minister. You've shown the world the true meaning of compassion and kindness. So please apply those same values to New Zealand's most vulnerable population. We need suicide prevention, not assisted suicide. Please, think about other New Zealanders who could be affected. I am somebody's daughter, just like you, and just like your own daughter.